The man accused of throwing a fish tank and other items onto I-5 from an overpass during rush hour traffic Friday faced a judge today. He is also accused of assaulting a trooper and then triggering an hours-long standoff. This all began Friday during rush hour just before 5:30 along I-5 northbound right about here and Boren Avenue, blocking traffic for hours. Hi, everybody. Glad you're with us. I'm Michelle Esteban. KOMO's Paul Rivera in the studio tonight. And Paul, what an ordeal. That in court today, the suspect certainly got the judge's attention.
Well, and you know, Michelle, he kept speaking out during the court hearing, and the judge had to tell him multiple times to let the attorneys talk and that he was being recorded. From an overpass standoff at Boren and I-5 to a King County courtroom, the suspect accused of throwing a bunch of stuff out onto the interstate, hitting and hurting a trooper and damaging vehicles, stood in front of a judge. While we were told not to show his face, we did hear his voice as he spoke up several times in court.
So just listen to the prosecutor.
The prosecutor argued that the suspect be held on $100,000 bail for a multitude of reasons. First, because of the current allegations against him, tossing a lime scooter, a knife, a fish tank, a pole, but also due to his previous criminal history.
Does have 7 assault-related convictions.
The judge agreed with the bail request.
The court is going to set bail at this time in the amount of $100,000, which would be bondable at $10,000.
The standoff this man is connected to lasted for hours. During all this, new court documents say the suspect charged towards officers, swinging something at them, and at one point had a knife in his hand. The trooper who was hit by the pole was not seriously injured, according to authorities. And the suspect is expected to face assault charges. His next court date, Michelle, that's happening a few days on Wednesday.
All right, so glad to hear that trooper's going to be just fine. Thanks so much.
An hours-long standoff over I-5 ended peacefully tonight after the SWAT team arrested a man accused of assaulting a trooper and throwing items at drivers on the freeway. We watched as the man refused to come out of a homeless encampment underneath an overpass. KOMO's Jeremy Harris was there as this all played out. He's live tonight in Seattle. And Jeremy, what an intense night out there.
It certainly was, Preston, and thankfully everything came to a safe resolution here within the last 2 hours. Troopers say this guy was throwing stuff at drivers on I-5 and then hit a responding trooper with a pole. Negotiators tried to get him to surrender peacefully. Now let's show you some video of how this all ended just after 9 o'clock tonight. You can see in this arrest video, police move in, take the man into custody before then marching him out of the homeless encampment. Now the suspect was not hurt during the arrest. This man spent hours yelling and refusing orders from police officers. We also saw him throwing things onto I-5 during the standoff as troopers and Seattle police watched him from above. Now, this also drew a big crowd onto the overpass as people watched all this play out. We talked to a man who lives near this intersection. He told me he's disappointed the state hasn't been more firm in removing these homeless encampments.
First of all, they've been trying to lock this little area down. They had a whole little homeless camp, was it last year ago, and they cleaned up the area. They drove this guy out, which, you know, we thought was gone, but obviously not. Hopefully it's peaceful, just keep Seattle clean.
Now, police say the original call here was from drivers who said their cars had been hit by debris. When troopers got there, they determined that a man in the encampment had thrown items down onto I-5, hitting those cars. Now, the drivers were not injured, but when that trooper got to the scene to investigate, they say that the guy threw a pole at him from above, and that actually hit the officer, and that trooper was taken to the hospital or is being treated medically. Now, State Patrol says they expect to book the suspect into jail on charges of assault and also for reckless endangerment. Now, this went on for the better part of 5 hours, started around 5 o'clock, ended just after 9 o'clock. You had Seattle Police, State Patrol, as well as the King County Sheriff's Office. Their goal was a peaceful resolution. They were able to accomplish that successfully. The suspect now headed to jail and may likely face some serious charges once prosecutors review the case. Reporting live in Seattle, Jeremy Harris, KOMO News.